Mick, a disappointing afternoon. Obviously, a lot happened. It's now 5:53 currently. Just give your immediate thoughts and reflections on what's just happened today.
Well, for me, football aside, football's irrelevant, and I think today has been an absolute shambles in terms of decision making or lack of decision making. People not making decisions. I just stopped my watch at the end of the game. It was 143 minutes to play 45 minutes, which means we stood around for 100 minutes doing nothing. And that we've restarted the game. Then then the ambulance has come, and then we've stopped the game again for another half an hour, 35 minutes, whenever it was. In my opinion, it's just player welfare has to come into it at some point. Football's irrelevant. You can have the points. I'm not bothered. We ended up finishing the game, which ended up just a testimonial because neither side could move. We stood around for over an hour, freezing cold. With no sort of decision in terms of when we're going to kick off, what's happening. The referee said if it's not clear, pitch isn't clear within 10 minutes, we're going to knock on the head. 15 minutes later, he still hadn't a decision. So I don't know. I'm lost for words, mate, if I'm honest.
Yeah, just trying to clear a few things up. So the air ambulance, did anyone know that was coming or?
No, not the best. I know they rang an ambulance, and I believe someone said that was in Selby area. So they must have obviously dropped it in here. Air ambulance has landed. Said it wasn't a case for an air ambulance, so then that wouldn't take it, and they had to wait for an ambulance to come, and the whole thing just seemed like an absolute shit show from start to finish, if I'm honest.
So obviously Walsall didn't go in the air ambulance. Obviously there was a 35-40 minute delay, just stood around the pitch. Obviously there's confusion on my behalf and all the supporters here. Just what was going on and what did the officials say at that point?
I thought I don't want to speak out of turn because I get in trouble, but I thought he was very weak in his decision making. He didn't have an answer. I don't think he quite knew the rules. He had to go and ring people. These people are turning up on a Saturday afternoon, getting paid for it, getting paid to do their job. If we don't know what we're doing, then there's questions to be answered. And when you've got people turning up on a Saturday afternoon getting paid to come here that don't actually know the rules, then I think we're all in trouble. But I just think the whole thing was dealt with really poorly from start to finish. And like I said before, football is irrelevant. You've got to look after player welfare at the end of the day. I know Emley were keen to get the game finished because, and so they should be, because they're 5-1 up. We don't want to be going away from Emley, today, because I don't want to make it about that decision. Fair play to Emley. They were very clinical. They took their chances. They had 5 chances, probably 6 chances, and scored 5. So I don't want to take anything away from them today. I thought they were excellent, but I just thought that decision has sort of let the whole day down.
Just looking at the incident which saw Walsall get injured, obviously he was only on the pitch, I think less than a minute when it happened. Obviously it's never nice to see a player get seriously, and you could tell straight away from the player's reaction. What do we know what he did and how is it?
Well, initially we thought it was a leg break, because like you said there, you can tell straight away by players' reactions. Everyone around him sort of stopped to run towards him. You could tell he was in quite a lot of discomfort, and then Emily started saying it's just a little cut. It looked more than a little cut to me. The lads were saying it was horrendous. So obviously he's been treated on the pitch, and then he's obviously been taken off the pitch. But I believe he's come down, and I don't know if he's jumped for the ball and he's come down and someone stood on the way down. But as the ambulance was bringing him away, the actual ambulance, not the air ambulance, they said he's got a spiral fracture. They believe he's got a spiral fracture, as well as half his calf is coming out of his leg. It's a horrific, it's a huge gash down the side of his leg. But I just wish him all the best, and I hope he recovers, because like I said, the great light of this, football is irrelevant. When you see things that happen, it's you've got to, player welfare has got to come into it at some point, and unfortunately I think every single player on this pitch today was let down by that.
Just moving on then, Mick, I'll take you back to nearly 2 hours ago now when we took the lead after 5 minutes through Ollie Norman, but even that seemed to get to run a place somewhat, didn't it? Yeah,
very much so. I thought we started negatively. We started on the back foot. We were too deep. We didn't want to break over shape, which in my opinion we were poor for doing so. We gave the lads instruction to go and get after them. We knew where we could exploit weaknesses, and that was across their back line, which was, it's quite an experienced back line, and every time we pressed properly we pinched the ball high, but I thought we just gave them too much respect and set off them too much. But every time they went forward, it looked like scoring, it looked like creating. they're a big, powerful side. They just get the ball down the sides. You to put it over the top. They got two big boys up front winning flick-ons, and the number 11. To be fair, I thought he was the best player on the pitch today. I think Charlie Owen's going to be having nightmares about him tonight.
Again, just casting your mind back to nearly 2 hours ago again, Emley rewarded a penalty in that first half. What did you make? Can you remember the incident, and what did you make of it?
Yeah, listen, I'll have to watch it back, but in my opinion, yes, he's hit the ball with his hand, but he's been pushed. You know, he's obviously been pushed onto the ball. Neither the referee or the linesman gave it. Again, I thought it was a really poor decision. I think it's a free for us. He's been pushed onto the ball. I agree. There is a handball, but he's been pushed in the sort of run up to that. Yeah, listen, I don't know. It's like I said, I think the less said, the better about them officials today.
Obviously, looking to keep it tight at the start of the second half, being 2-1 down, but 2 goals inside the first 15 minutes really kills off any hope, doesn't it?
Yeah, the goals we conceded, they were really poor, really poor goals. I mean, other than the penalty, we've got to deal with the first one. The second one, we've got to deal with it. The penalty is the second one. The third one, we've got to deal with it. We've let it bounce. Charlie's let the 11 run off the back of him. You know, again, you can't be doing that. The fourth goal is embarrassing. You know, highly embarrassing. And then the fifth goal is just, you know, against the run of play when we're throwing bodies forward to try and get something back, restore some kind of pride. And they've just hit us on the break. That's just one of them things. But like I said, the third, the fourth goal, and the first were unacceptable, and the fourth goal especially was highly embarrassing.
Just finally, obviously, we've started Junaid Cassius Gill come back on for his second debut for the club. What can fans expect from him, and how excited are you to add him to your squad? Yeah, really delighted to get Junaid in. He's bright, you know. He's a very tenacious player. You know, he's a bag of tricks. He makes things happen in the final third. He again, like any forward, he's a confidence player. You know, it's up to us now to try and get our arm around him and try and get Junaid back to the level he was at 2 years ago. Because if we do that, then we've got a really good player in our hands. But it's not going to be an overnight thing. You know, the fans need to be patient with him. I think you know, give Junaid 2 or 3 games. I think you'll see the best in him. But he's you know, he's a threat in the final third. He scores off both feet. You know, and he's the sort of player that we don't have in terms of, you know, he can play anywhere across that front line, and he's quite versatile. So we're really pleased to have him. Thank you for your time, mate.
Cheers, Jay.